I'm going to move on directly to a brief presentation for Mistango River Resources. I hope you can all see my screen online, and I will get started with an update of what's happened this past year, but more importantly, what we're doing going forward. So this is the forward-looking statement that's just ubiquitous throughout all junior mining companies. We will be making forward-looking statements throughout. So if I may, I'll just say it's been a very eventful year for Mistango. For those who aren't familiar with the story, such as one of the gentlemen here today, this year marks a transition in management from a previous management team over to our group here in Toronto. I think I'd like to congratulate all the directors and officers and even the shareholders of this year. The company has transformed itself. It came from what I would describe as a very dormant company with not a lot of activity. In fact, it was a 1-cent stock. And our company has, our group, I should say, has been successful in working together with partners and financiers. And we've made some acquisitions. We've refinanced the company. And the company now is in what I would describe as a very strong financial position with a very strong technical team behind it. And it's currently undergoing phase 1, a 10,000 meter drill program on its Kirkland West project, which is immediately adjacent to the Kirkland Lake Gold's Macassa mine, which is one of the highest grade gold mines in the world. So it's been a successful year. I think the company is now drilling, and we're doing exactly what we told shareholders, is that we turn this company around, raise capital, and put steel into the ground to make a discovery. And that's what we're doing. We, as I said, we're probably about 2,000 meters into this 10,000 meter drill campaign on this program. Hopefully we get fantastic results. We've had no results to date, but that should change relatively soon. Hopefully by the end of the year, if not certainly in January, we'll start to get results in. We'll take what we learned from that program, and then we'll go back. As I said, we're well funded. We have approximately $7 million in the bank, and so that results in a lot of meters, secondarily of which we will pay some attention and put a drill program on our Omega project, which is Mistango's second project. It's brown figures, has about 600,000 ounces of gold, relatively near surface, and it's about 30 kilometers to the east of our Kirkland West project, which we are currently drilling on. I think we've got major shareholders are involved. I think it's well known that Eric Sprott is a significant shareholder at 16%, and our sister company, Orefinders Resources, has 19%. And our insiders are very well aligned with our shareholders. Corporate overview. Obviously, as we know, we're traded on the Securities Exchange. We have 130 million shares outstanding now, and our market cap is pushing $40 million, which is quite a leap from where we were 18 months ago when we began this journey as new managers in this company. And our stock has performed, as I said, when our group came in, we were a penny stock, and we hit 40 cents not too long ago. We sold back a little bit to around the 30-cent range, but I think shareholders have been very satisfied with our efforts to date. Our group, for those who don't know much about our group, we call ourselves the OR Group. We're a group of entrepreneurs based out of Toronto. We have a family of exploration companies. We're quite good at acquiring opportunities, financing them, packaging them, raising money, and then putting money into the ground to either reinterpret existing geology to expand on existing resources, or to discover new resources, new ore bodies. Effectively, on the Kirkland West, we're looking for a new ore body. Meanwhile, on our Omega project, we're looking to expand resources. That's sort of our approach, and that's how we feel we can best create value for shareholders. Inside of the group of Mistango River Resources, we've got Orefinders, who I mentioned is a significant shareholder. We've got Baseload Energy, American Eagle Gold, and QC Copper as part of our group. Here's our map. As I said here, this is where our Ebby Baldwin project is here in the gray. That is the Macassa mine. We are right on trend. These dotted lines here are the 04 and the main breaks, which are very, very prolific and well-endowed gold structures that have been producing for over 70 years, and I suspect will be producing for another 70 more. Over to the east here is our Omega project, which is very close to ore finders, McGarry project, which is one of the reasons why ore finders made its initial investment into Mistango. You can see those in the pink is depicted as Agnico Eagle, and then there's another company called Gatling Resources who straddles them. Between these two properties, this is roughly 30 kilometers, but it's a highly prolific gold-bearing structure. The Cadillac break, the main break. It's been around for a century, and it's there are more ore bodies yet to be discovered here. Both Mistango and ore finders are actively pursuing it. I think collectively we're one of the largest landholders in this particular camp called the Kirkland Lake Camp, outside of the two big guys, which of course are Agnico Eagle and Kirkland Lake Gold. This is a little zoom in here of our Kirkland West project. You can see there is a historical resource, and there's also historical production that came out of what's called the Baldwin Mine. This is in fact where we're drilling as we speak. There are 3 different zones we're drilling on in this phase 1 10,000 meter program, but this is the primary area here. You can see the grades there that exist on the historical resource out of the Kirkland West project are substantial, and they're actually quite in line with the grades that come from the Macassa, and that's sort of where the excitement comes from. The thought is that if we can prove that the gold mineralization runs from east to west, which it has in the past, that our property could represent a future extension or an additional mine that could come out of the Kirkland Lake camp. I'll note that the Macassa mine is just one of 7 mines that have existed in the Kirkland Lake camp, all of which have started from east to west. And so the thought is it continues west onto our property. We certainly believe there's a good chance of that. We've seen a lot of evidence, but obviously the truth machine, i.e. the drill bit, will prove that, and that's what we're well financed and well positioned to complete upon. We've done a lot of work on this property in terms of geophysics and sampling, and that all preceded our current drill program, which is now underway. Our Vice President of Exploration, Keith Ben, supported by Charles Beaudry, a director of the company, have been put exhaustive effort into mitigating the risk and increasing their chances of success by lots of field work, lots of geophysics, lots of analysis. We spent probably 6 months getting up to speed, understanding the model, interpreting it, and then ultimately beginning with the drill program, which started about a month ago. And so throughout this geophysics, it was really just about delineating targets. That's what it was. We don't anticipate that there's going to be anything near surface. This camp is well known and well understood, and if there was anything obvious, it would have been discovered. And so chances are these things are undercover a little bit, and that's why these geophysics certainly proves to be an aid. Now, geophysics is certainly nothing to be. It helps you whittle down the needle in the haystack, but again, nothing proves anything without the drill bits. So this is just a reiteration of some of the work that we've done in the exploration program, which preceded our drill program. I won't get too much into that, as I sort of already covered it. I will comment on our Omega mine, which is in and of itself is honestly the reason what brought Mistango to our attention all those years ago when we decided to make the investment and ultimately take over or assume control of the company. It's adjacent to Ore Finders, which is, as I said, is our sister company, and it was 600,000 ounces at a let's call it a blended grade of about 2 grams per ton. And this is all relatively near surface, and there's certainly room for expansion both laterally and at depth. And of course, there's the prospect of totally new discoveries on this property. But I think that the Omega is often gets overlooked because of our Kirkland West project. And I understand that because our Kirkland West project is considered sexy, and there's a lot of anticipation that the Macassa could extend onto that. However, I urge shareholders not to ignore the value that the Omega represents. It's a 43-101 resource, so it's more established. It's been drilled out. It's real. It's there. It's been mined. I was on site not too long ago. It has former production that came out of it, and actually fairly substantial production came out of it. And we think there's the prospect that could go back into production. However, that's not our game plan. You can expect us probably in Q2 to go out and test this thing with the drill bit. Again, this would be a resource expansion, probably paired with some discovery targets that we see northwest of the Omega mine. So this is a very valuable asset, 600,000 ounces. You can attribute a per ounce valuation to that if you want. One could argue the Omega is equivalent to our market cap in a certain market, and then you could almost get the cash in the Kirkland West project for free. But anyways, there's no point in talking about what ifs. Only that the Omega is a substantial asset. I think it has a lot of value, and we're going to be paying attention to it in 2021. This is what the rocks look like. Pretty sexy rock for geologists or rock hounds. But again, the assays are what counts, not the visuals. This is what the resource looked like. It's a 43-101. It's compliant, and we'll look to expand upon that in 2021. This is, again, I won't get into the structural interpretation except to say that the Omega is smack on the Cadillac Larder Lake break, which of course is very famous. So just like the Macassa mine is famous today, the Kerr Addison mine was famous of yesteryear. In the 90s. It operated for nearly 50 years, very high grade mine. I think its life of mine was over 8 grams per ton. It was a phenomenal ore body, and the Omega is part of that system. And we think that there are future ore bodies yet to be discovered, or certainly resources that will be expanded upon. These are our targets here. We haven't gone too much into detail in a public way about what we're going to be drilling yet, but we are, rest assured, Keith Ben is thinking about, as we speak, about this drill program. And there will be 3 areas of focus here that we outline here, A, B, and C. But shareholders can expect more details on that as we get closer to that drill program. So this is just a milestone of growth and upcoming catalysts. I won't go into the history, really more about focus. Again, it's completing this 10,000 meters of drilling. As I said, we're about 2,000 meters in, so we have 8,000 meters to go. And then we'll start drilling on the Omega shortly thereafter, and then you can expect us to go right back at it on Kirkland West with a phase 2. In my mind, 2021 is going to be the year of the drill. We are very well financed. We are very well supported by shareholders, and there's a lot of anticipation about our drill results. Our entire group, and that's the ore group, and certainly Mistango is an important part of that, has had the view that in years past, we have been focused on acquisitions because it has not been accretive from a shareholder's perspective to put money into the ground, because the investor base, the audience just wasn't there, and hence spend all that money. It's a lot of money to drill, and you wouldn't get any share appreciation except for that 1 in a million drill hole. We always felt that was not a proper investment thesis, so we sat tight and waited for the market to come. I believe the market has come in 2020. I do believe, although this is my opinion, that 2021 will continue to be a very strong market for gold. I anticipate a lot of mergers and acquisitions to increase, especially mergers and acquisitions, which has been abated because of COVID, because people can't do the appropriate due diligence and site visits. So I do expect gold to increase. I do expect mergers and acquisitions to increase. And I do think that, again, 2021 is going to be the year of the drill bit, certainly for Mistango and the ore group, but I think wider as the industry of a whole. I hope that brings on a whole new generation of discoveries, which will, in effect, snowball interest into this industry, because as people make more money, it attracts additional capital. And I do think the sector is still, even though it's had a really good run, I think it's still undervalued relative to the alternatives out there. So I'm quite in conclusion, I'm very pleased with what our group has done in 2021, and I'm even more hopeful about the prospects for 2020. Excuse me, I said that backwards. I'm very pleased what we did with 2020, and I'm even more hopeful about the prospects for 2021. This is our team. I thank everyone there who's been a part of it, and if there are any questions, these are my contacts. Because of the uniqueness of the situation, we discourage shareholders from coming to the meeting, and because of the technical issues of having a shareholder meeting, we don't have it open for questions in a live format. But these are my emails and contacts. I answer every single email and phone call. So if there are any questions, I encourage shareholders to contact me directly. And I thank you for your support, and I thank you for attending today's meeting. With that, I will wrap it up, and I will wish you a good day.